Hey listeners, welcome back to the Voiceover Learning Lounge. This is episode 2, and it's called part 1 of using Textedit on the Mac with Voiceover. This is still being taught at the beginner level, and if you're new here, this is the place where you, our listeners, and I, Voiceover Guide, will come together in a very relaxed sort of environment to learn all about the world of VoiceOver. This is Apple's built-in screen reader, and you can get more details on what exactly we will be learning here in episode 1 of this podcast. So just as a quick review of the last episode, we learned some initial basic commands to help you get started with using VoiceOver if you are brand new to it. And we left off by learning how to move around the Mac and choose which apps to open. So from here on in, though, what we're going to do is we're going to start to focus on specific apps within the Mac. And then we're going to try and learn as much about them as I'm able to provide for you, which I can tell you right now, it won't be an exhaustive list of commands by any means. This will basically be what the format of the rest of these episodes will be like. The structure will be loose, and we're just going to go over a very small topic in each episode. So to start out our journey into the world of Mac and VoiceOver, that is, if you don't count the general overview that we did in the last episode, we will begin to learn all about Textedit. This is a word processor or a text editor that comes built in on the Mac, and it seems to me to be the most accessible for blind or low vision users. At least that's what I've found after I've tried out many word processors myself. So we're going to learn what Textedit is. Then we're going to learn how to launch it. Then we're going to learn how to open a new document or file and start typing some text in it. And then we will learn how to edit the document in a very basic way, because more formatting details will come in a later episode. And then we will end off this episode by learning how to save the document that we created and how to reopen that same document back up again. So assuming that you have your Mac already turned on and running, let's go ahead and dive right in. So to begin with, you might be wondering, what is Textedit? It's basically a word processor that's built into the Mac. It lets you read and write basic documents, and it's kind of like Notepad on a Windows computer, so it's not really like Microsoft Word, but if you need to do some basic document word processing, that's the one to use, and it's actually my favorite one to use. So this is how you launch it. You basically open up Spotlight. This is the fastest way to launch it. There's there's lots of different ways that you can use to launch it, but you can press Command and Spacebar.
Spotlight, search, window.
We learned this in the last episode. Command and Spacebar will get you to a spot called Spotlight, a space called Spotlight where you can type in the word Textedit. Then hit Enter.
Window. Textedit. Open window, column view, browser, row 1 of 1.
So now Textedit has opened. I need to turn my volume up.
New audio output, volume up button.
So now Textedit has opened. And this is how you create a new document. You just hit Command N.
Now in untitled window, edit text.
And then we're going to start typing some text. So we're going to say, this is episode 2 of the podcast. This is episode 2 of the podcast. Hit Enter. Today is sunny. Hit Enter. And type, I am recording this on a Tuesday. And hit Enter. Oh, you don't have to. So now we've written 3 lines, and we can learn now how to edit the document in a very basic way. So before we do that, we have to change a setting, and this is not a setting that is there by default. We have to change a setting somewhere within something called the VoiceOver utility. This will make VoiceOver behave like the JAWS cursor does, or the Windows cursor does when you're on a Windows laptop and you're trying to arrow around your document. If you've used JAWS before, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, it's basically making it so that it's easier to edit the document with VoiceOver. It's a setting that I changed right away when I got my Mac. So we have to first go into a setting called Voiceover Utility. To do that, we're going to hit VO keys, Control and Option, and F8 together. If you're on a touch bar, hold down the function keys and the VO keys, then swipe along your touch bar until you hear F8.
F4, F6, F7, F8.
Then double tap on the touch bar.
Opening voiceover utility window.
So right now what's happening here is that you are inside a space called Voiceover Utility. And what you're going to have to do is you're inside a space called Voiceover Utility. I know I just said that. Oh well. And this is a space that we're going to be coming to a lot. And we're going to learn about parts of it as it relates to the rest of the episodes that we're talking about. So right now we're learning a part of Voiceover Utility that relates to TextEdit. So now we're in Voiceover Utility and we need to find the category, the big category of what we want to interact with. So we're going to press, we're in a table. We need to interact within the table, which means that we need to move VoiceOver's focus into the table. So press Control Option Shift down arrow.
In utility categories, table.
And then we are going to press the VO keys and the right arrow.
Verbosity.
Until we hear verbosity, and then we're going to press VO and spacebar to select it. And then we're going to press VO keys, shift and up arrow to stop interacting with the table, move back out into the main Voiceover Utility category space.
Out of utility categories, table.
And then we're going to press VO right arrow.
Speech, Braille, tap, text.
These categories that you're hearing, speech, Braille, text, and so on, are subcategories within the category of verbosity. So I'm going to choose text, so I'm going to hit VO left arrow.
Braille, tab.
There's Braille, then I'm going to hit VO right arrow. You're just moving along.
Text, tab.
There's text,
3.
Then I'm going to hit VO spacebar.
Selected, text, tab.
Text is
3.
selected now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this text category. So I need to keep on hitting VO right arrow until it starts to announce settings within the text category that I can manipulate.
Announcements, tab, hints, punctuate sum, repeated first 3 times, repeated.
I'm going to go to something that says,
do line and do not while characters while typing when moving the speak text to the right of the cursor when moving the cursor.
It says speak text to the right of the cursor. Mine already is set to the correct setting, but if it wasn't, let's see what other options are there that you can choose. You hit VO spacebar here.
Menu,
it opens up a menu of options. There's another one. There's only one other choice you can choose from. So let's hit down arrow. This is how you navigate a menu.
Speak text the cursor passes.
Speak text the cursor passes. So if we wanted to, we could hit VO spacebar. That is what you hit. Control Option spacebar to select anything in a menu or anywhere. I'm going to keep the original option selected, which is
check mark. Speak text to the right of the cursor.
Speak text to the right of the cursor. It's already checked, it's already selected, but I'm going to hit VO spacebar on it to select it.
Closing menu. Speak text to the right of the cursor.
And now it's closed. So now VoiceOver will behave just like JAWS does on a Windows cursor computer, on a Windows PC. Okay, see, I told you this wasn't scripted. Now I'm going to close VoiceOver Utility with Command Q.
TextEdit.
Okay, so now I'm back in my document, and basically this is how you read through the document. We're basically just going to go over how to edit the document in a basic way. So how you would read through the document is you just press Command and up arrow to move to the top. If you want VoiceOver to just read from the top to the bottom, you can do what I do, which is find your trackpad that we talked about in episode 1. Take 2 fingers and swipe down.
This is episode 2 of the podcast. Today is sunny. I am recording this on a Tuesday.
So it basically read the document from top to bottom. You could also hit VO keys and A, Control, Option, and A together.
This is episode 2 of the podcast.
And to stop it from reading, hit the Control key. So those are 2 ways you can have VoiceOver read the whole thing from top to bottom, and you can just sit back and listen. If you want to navigate by lines, just press up arrow to move to the previous line.
Today is sunny. This is episode
Keep pressing up arrow, it'll keep moving up line by line. You hit the down arrow.
Today is sunny.
It'll move down a line. You hit left arrow, right arrow.
Period.
Left arrow moves you back by character.
Y-N-N-U-S-S-I.
Right arrow moves you forward by character.
S space S-U-N-N-Y. Period. New lock cap I.
Okay, now if you want to move to the beginning of the current line, you press Command left arrow. We were already at the beginning. If you want to move to the end of the line, you hit Command right arrow.
Tuesday.
Now, if you want to jump to the bottom, we already learned that Command and down arrow
End of text.
gets you to the bottom. Now, that's very basic. If you want to move by word, which is the last thing we'll learn here, in terms of editing, we're going to interact with the document first. So we press, anytime I say interact, you're pressing Control and Option, Shift, and down arrow.
In edit text.
We're interacting our cell in the document. Now, if you press Control, Option, right arrow.
End of text.
Well, we're already at the end. Okay, so let's try pressing Control, Option, left arrow.
Tuesday. A.
Keep pressing Control, Option, left arrow.
On this recording.
It's moving backwards by word. You press Control, Option, right arrow, it's moving forward by word.
This on a Tuesday.
Then you let go. And then the last thing is, you can do is, you can, now you know basically how to move around your document. So let's pretend that we want to change one word in the document.
This is episode 2.
Let's say we want to say this is episode number 2 and not just this is episode 2. So what you can do is just navigate towards the word episode. You can go by word, jump to the top of the document first, Command up arrow,
This
then press Control Option right arrow.
is episode.
And then when you're at the beginning of the word episode, which is now, press the right arrow all the way until
P-I-S-O-D-E space 2.
until you hear the number 2. Then when you hear the number 2, that means you can start typing the word number because the cursor is right to the left of the number 2. Then press, so you can type the word number, N-U-M-B-E-R, hit space,
Number.
and then now it says,
This is episode number 2.
this is episode number 2, and blah, blah, blah. So that's how you can do some editing. And then the last thing that we're going to learn before we finish up here is how to save the document and reopen it again. So to save the document, just hit Command S.
Save as. Tags. File format. Entering leaving testing document. Tags. Untitled. Contents select.
Okay, so if you Shift Tab, and sometimes it puts you within the edit field to type the name of the document. Usually it does. If it doesn't, hit Tab or Shift Tab until you get to a space that says
Untitled. Contents selected. Save as.
Untitled. Hit backspace to get rid of the word untitled. Type whatever name you want. Just call it Testing Episode 2 Document.
Testing Episode 2 Document. Content test 2. Space.
Then we can tab
Tags. Rich text document.
through a bunch of
Column
stuff.
view.
Keep tabbing.
Change the desktop. Where?
It says it's saving it in the desktop. Keep tabbing.
Show less. Search new for cancel button.
Keep tabbing until you hear the save button.
Save button.
Then hit enter.
Edit.
And your document is saved. And then now you can close TextEdit with Command Q.
Closing dialog. Edit text insertion at beginning of testing.
Keep pressing Command Q until TextEdit closes.
The testing document.
Now when we want to open it back up, there's a couple of ways you can do this. If you already know where the document is saved, it's in your desktop, you can press VO keys, Shift and D.
Desktop testing.
Then
document.
hit Tab.
Rich text. The Voiceover Learning Lounge testing document.
Keep hitting Tab
Testing Episode 2 Document. Rich text document.
until it says the name of the document, which it did. Then hit Command O.
Testing Episode Text Edit. Testing Episode 2.
And then it opens the document right back up. And you can arrow around through it again. So that, my friends, is the end of episode 2, where we just sort of scratch the surface of TextEdit. Stay tuned for the next episode where we're going to go over some more exciting things on how to use your Mac. Thank you for listening and have a great day.